Is everybody in? It says I'm going live. I think everybody's in. I see a lot of people in chat. Looks like everybody's in. Let's make this ceremony begin. Cheers, guys, gals, ladies, they,
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
to all you people. Everybody, I have lots of chatters chatting it up. Oh man, I'm over here. I'm a rookie.
Oh, are you hearing yourself?
I hear myself as always. Let me pop chat out so I can see chat. That only happens for a second now. I have a larger screen that I'm messing with now and an actual mouse, so I don't have to fiddle with my thumbs here. I can move things around. Cheers, Abalis. Cheers, Skilbo. Cheers,
going on,
Becca.
brother?
Hopefully, I don't get no feedback. I'm waiting on my headset to charge. So let me know if you guys end up coming through my mic. Shouldn't though.
Make sure to go to live chat.
Oh, Becca with
Hey.
the pro fucking suggestions out of the gate.
She's telling everybody while at the same time telling me to do the same.
That's a little
Because what that
instruction.
was, yeah. Giving me the instruction here.
That's pretty
Just
good.
for
We
your
got
optimal
16
viewing
people
pleasure.
watching, and we got 11 thumbs up. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
We're
thank
with
you all
that.
very much. Cheers, everybody. If you are tuning in, please enjoy the show. We're gonna have a nice little conversation. First, I guess, what's going on? You guys doing anything in the garden? What are you guys doing to escape the chill? We've finally had a little bit of a freeze this week. It's like doing this, right? I'm up and down freezing, I guess, depending on where you are. I'm talking about Michigan at least. It's been warm and cold, and we're cold, man. What are you guys doing to stay busy, to keep your vitamin D levels up and at least stay happy? You guys got anything good coming?
Moving houses, bro. So I'm out in that cold, fucking dragging shit back and forth.
Not a bad time to move, actually.
It's always a bad time to move when you're old, Brad.
Well, absolutely. At least there's no snow. Not a foot of snow on the ground, and it's not 90
No,
degrees.
no. It's not freezing, Chad. Yeah.
But that cold will crinkle them bones up. Cheers, Daddy Red. Yeah,
To
cheers.
get out there, I've been locked up in a trim jail for the last week with that monkey head, and it's just more stuff's going to keep coming down after that.
What do you think of it?
I'm really enjoying it. Even the phenols that I was like kind of iffy on that were bubblegummy, I really ended up liking the taste afterwards. The bubblegum didn't transfer in the taste.
Boo.
I can't wait to share with you guys though.
Cheers,
I thought
Chad.
there was going to be like 4 different phenols. There's just 2 distinct tastes, but there was 4. The 4 of them did grow a little
Sizes.
different.
Yeah.
Wet Blanket tuning in from Oklahoma says it is cold in Oklahoma.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't think it's going to last very long. And I think before we know it, we're going to be seeing the 40s regularly. And I think that the ground's going to thaw out. Yeah.
It's weird that it's like past the middle of January already.
Yeah,
So fucking
super
weird,
fast. Winter comes and it always sucks for a minute, and it's, this time of year, it's like, wow, it's already time to start popping seeds. If you have anything like cannabis wise, you want to like maybe get some pheno hunts, pick your males and females real fast before maybe outdoor season. Take some extra clones off those males or females before outdoor season, things like that. It's a good time to start popping vegetables, practice your own individual sovereignty and not have to worry about, man, the prices of food right now are crazy. I'm sure seed prices are going up, but you know what? Get yourself a little something, invest in even a bowl for some microgreens or for some lettuce or greens or something. You can keep yourself busy. It's good for the mind and it's good for the body. Do what some of the other people out here are doing, and order some mycology experiments online. They got some interesting like kits that you can get with just a full slab of mycelium.
It's got the cake already.
Ready to go.
Yeah, man.
I've definitely seen them with oysters and shiitakes and all those. And
when I
There's a
first started
ton of,
looking
like-
into it, I was wondering about those. I was like, I see there's these kits, man, and you can get them where you just basically all you do is you wet them, throw them in this bag that it comes with. It comes with 2 paper clips. You paper clip it closed and see what happens. But I've heard that sometimes those work and sometimes those don't. So
The gourmet and edible ones in the box, that's a genius idea. You just add moisture and then it starts to fruit for you. I love
you know?
that. I mean, even on the healing end, they have really good pre-built systems now. Like we one of you guys linked it in chat the other day, that Boomer Schumer setup, the like the inflatable type deal. That's amazing. It's already got the holes cut and everything that you need for your filtration. Like it seems really cool. And I guarantee I'd like to try it, but I bet you cleaning those is amazing because you just deflate it and then stick it in your sink and rinse it out.
Right.
I've actually been waiting for a larger, I guess, more mushroom style, mycology style products to hit the shelves. I've been seeing a lot of them, little monotubs, actually like mold formed monotubs. So with, multiple, this looks far different than a herbal propagator. You know what I mean? It's designed for mycology. It's opaque on the bottom, so there's no light getting to the sides, so you're not going to have extra pinning and all of that stuff. They're designed well. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Hopefully it's good sourcing material, and because we are talking about fungus, and they're going to digest plastic and all kinds of shit, right? And so I mean, hopefully they're made out of like good quality materials, but otherwise I can't see anything wrong with that kind of stuff. It's plastic, but you use it 100 times probably before it goes bad, as long as it has some quality to it.
Well, see, here in the early days of people just coming into this, just like when people started coming into cannabis, you really want to make it where it's accessible to everyone. And so even though a lot of people that are a lot more experienced be like, oh man, you're fucking blowing so much money on the stupid shit that you really don't need. You could get it done for like 3 cents and, a couple of returnable bottles. You could get this all together and rolling. But there's like a success factor and a fail safe. And so to me, I don't mind having, like a pre-done kit and just jumping out of the gates with that, just so that I can get some medicine up and then see if I'm able to do it successfully. Then I may want to, level up and start trying to either work more to scale or, start working with different genetics or whatever else inside of it. But, I want to see it become accessible to everyone where, it's like, oh, no big deal, man. I can hook you up with some of those, or you can grow those yourself.
A lot
because
of that
the fucking barrier for the last 35 years has been, who the fuck's got the shrooms?
Sure.
Let's just keep it real.
And it's almost foolproof for the novice nowadays. I mean, especially if you can get some pre-inoculated cakes or something like that. I mean, at that point, it's just like, shoot, pop a hole inside of it, give it some moisture and give it the right conditions, let it go. I mean, the other ways would be, bulk it out. You could do that with those also. Or with a slightly more experience, even take that cake and make a dozen cakes of your own, just by propagating them. And yeah, I think that it's here we are, man. We're able to talk about that kind of stuff, and shout out to everybody for tuning in to this type of, what's coming out of it. But
Rick's gonna salute you with his grinder.
Taboo top. I'm slightly. I'm gonna give our disclosure, our disclaimers here about us. We're gonna discuss harm reduction, guys. In case you're new to the channel, there we are. We're talking about mushrooms right now. We're probably gonna talk about cannabis, other taboo topics like LSD, and what people are doing to safely consume or safely medicate, how to have safe experiences, or most importantly, test. Spartan's throwing us off here.
We'll inhale the
cakes. He says,
inhale some cake.
Shout out to Spartan. Shout out to Michigan Bros Grow Show, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and also late session on Monday nights at 11 p.m. And but yeah, so if you are new to this channel, thank you all very much for tuning in. And what we're gonna kind of discuss a little bit, and has to do with the mycology. Actually, it has to do with kind of all plant medicines, including cannabis. Skilbo, actually, I'll start with you right now. How, you told us all, you told the world you're no longer a smoker last week, said the words. How has that gone? How's that going?
Dude, I'm still not smoking cigarettes.
Ooh.
So I have not even had one. I've not had one hit off one. I've just
milestones.
Guys, it is, man. It's like
huge.
I started smoking cigarettes when I was like 13. And so I've been smoking cigarettes almost as long as Red's been alive.
There's some love in chat for Skilbo. Let's get some love in the comments. I too am an ex-smoker. I no longer consider myself a cigarette smoker, just to be exact. It's been the better part of a decade, I can finally say. I think 5-6 years, something like that. Thankfully, I'm starting to lose count.
That's the way you
Skilbo,
want it to be, man.
You will get there, my friend. Yeah, and I did it through integration of plant medicines. Did it, and that's the important thing, man, is integration. And that's kind of where I was going with in the beginning here. I know I'm sure Ball should be right back, and
He'll be right back.
it threw me off because I was going to throw it to him real fast.
You fucked up my segue, man.
No, it's cool. No, don't
Realized
feel
my drink was
obligated to come
halfway
back
across the room. I was like,
Yeah,
shit.
I was going to say,
Roll
don't feel
back.
obligated if you have to jump and do whatever you were doing, but you're doing it, man. And so abolished on your end. Are you working with us? And now we've talked about, you were discussing DMT, discussing microdosing and things like that. Have you been able to, let's say, use anything that you may have seen during your experiences and you may have thought of, or gifts that may have been given to you from the ether, or the other? Have you been able to apply that to today or yesterday or just whenever, man? Just, or how has that been? Or how is
I
the
guess
ability to apply it?
a lot of the humility stuff. I mean, I still let my cockiness and whatnot come out, but I guess a lot of ego checking and whatnot. Like I apply that to a lot of things nowadays. At least I try to. Like I know I'm really good at things, but sometimes I tend to get a little braggish about it, and that's something that I learned there. Like you can't be like that.
Do you ever notice maybe after an experience that you may feel the need or try to change any part of your routine or your daily habits or anything like that, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because you really, you can't bullshit yourself if you're in like a real, I guess, psychedelic medicated state, mushrooms or DMT.
Right.
So I mean, you something down there inside you just kind of comes out, and you want to change. Like, I don't know, getting kind of deep here. I didn't know we were gonna go this deep.
No, you're cool. You're cool. You want to change, but that's exactly what we're talking about. And then and then what it is though, it's I'm going to kind of bounce around the topic just a little bit, but what I'm discussing is integration. So you're going to come up with these thoughts or feelings that you're going to have, and I've gotten all of that the same. You may see the way that you treat yourself. You may see the way you treat others. In my experience, I saw the way I was treating myself and others. And I'm going to compare it to Skilbo's experience of what he's actually going through right now, because through the experience, I saw myself treating myself wrong by utilizing plant medicines in a detrimental way. And by plant medicines, I'm including tobacco in this. Okay. I was over consuming not just a good quality tobacco, the garbage, commercially grown, the pesticide ridden, chemically treated GMO cigarettes. The tobacco that's in cigarettes is not even tobacco for the most part. Rather, it's resin sprayed paper. If you understand how cigarettes are actually manufactured, you're saying you're really just smoking nicotine leachate. It's been hash water, basically, paper soaked hash water. I'm sure the paper's nice and fine nonetheless, right? That's what it is. And for a long time, I too, I enjoyed the consumption. I enjoyed the little buzz, the little head rush. I enjoyed everything that cigarettes would feel. And now the point of being able to integrate after your experience or after making these changes, and to continue that is so that when we have these discussions, they don't become, say, triggers or anything like that. That almost makes you feel the urge or the need, and if it does, are you able to go back to your experience to reestablish the connection of, what made you change in the first place? I get urges and things all the time. And then it's a matter of saying those exact words that Skilbo said last week, where he's not a smoker. And I refresh myself. I'm just not a smoker. Whether or not I have an urge or having a bad day or something, I'll go into the smoke shop to get some papers, and I'll talk to the old dude who used to sell me cartons of cigarettes or 3-packs or whatever I was buying for the day or the week. And unfortunately today, those triggers have lapsed, and he doesn't even ask if I want cigarettes anymore. He understands, my gig, but when you're under the influence, you'll get hit with all of these emotions. You'll get hit with all of these thoughts, these feelings. Maybe you get hit with you're doing something wrong. You might get hit with it. You are doing lots of things right. They may enter themselves as challenging experiences or what, but I think that it's your mentality after the experience, whether it's the morning after, the day after, the week after. It's integrating what you feel like you've learned into actually being a meaningful experience. This can be applied to before your experience as well. When we talk about set and setting, is do you have a purpose for your experience? What are you gaining? What are you attaining to gain? You wanting, where do you want to go? It can be interesting, especially when myself, I utilize in many, a handful of different, let's say, entheogens, all over the same, spectrum or class, but I'll use them in different forms in microdose levels on occasion. And it almost kind of those those integrations almost, it's almost perpetual, right? I'm constantly having the experience, constantly having to integrate. But I integrate it even into the extent where I'm saying, well, if the experience is going to, or if I need to change anything, I need to change other things, right? So I eat, we were talking about the mushrooms, maybe oyster mushrooms, or shiitakes or something like that. For example, we put a agarikon powder in our tea. We're putting turmeric powder, not in our tea, our soup. Turmeric powder and
Turmeric powder is good for inflammation, bro.
yes, and many other things.
Turmeric and ginger, man.
So yeah, I have ginger in my tea. Actually, this tea is nothing more than ginger and some lemon. I was gonna add some honey and haven't got to it, but
I have ginger and turmeric fucking gummies, dude, for inflammation and shit. Actually seems to provide some relief.
And I came to a lot of these realizations through the psychedelic experience of, it doesn't take much. It takes like scrolling through Netflix and like a quarter tab of some good L, or 50 milligrams or 150 milligrams of psilocybin or something like that, dried mushroom weight, to just have a thought. Especially if you're watching documentaries, or I like to just watch things like, what is it? World or the Earth? What's that show? It's like the Earth or Planet Earth. There's tons of those.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say videos about cars.
Oh no, not necessarily while I'm under the experience. No,
okay.
More, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll do farming and things like that, but it just like it gives you a different type of an appreciation, I suppose. And then when I come out of it, it almost has been the catalyst for me. And I'd say the fact that I grow cannabis at scale, and I try to do it with as little inputs as possible, and also the food production, that's all integration. That's because of just random epiphanies that I've had, not just about my own lifestyles or anything, but it's been because of me understanding that I need to change, and then making the correct, maybe moves, if you will, or incorrect moves. I ton of mistakes, dude, right? Tons of mistakes. But in that, it again, the experience will tell
It's
you.
all in the journey, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
even going back as far as like, I mean, I've talked about in the show how mushrooms and DMT and whatnot have helped me on my journey, but my journey's been much longer than that. Like cannabis started to help with that journey. Like I was at least 120 pounds more than what I am right now when I started growing cannabis. And then because of cannabis and growing organics, I started to get into probiotics, started to worry about more about my health, ended up losing a bunch of weight and got super, super into being healthy. I fell off the tracks on that for a little bit, but I plan on getting back to there here really, really soon.
What was your weakness?
Just settling down to that dad life, I guess, you know?
I thought you were gonna say like fucking half-gallon of ice cream every other day or some shit.
That happens to some of us, man. It happens to a lot of us.
Well, you're self-medicating again at that.
happens to me
We
all
always
the
come
time.
back to that. You know what I mean? People are using food as a coping technique.
Reese's peanut
Yeah,
butter cups, man.
cheesesteaks and fucking
There it is.
Yeah, everything's
DoorDash are
Reese's, man.
terrible.
DoorDash, man. Dangerous.
Are you getting DoorDash Reese's? Is that what's going on?
DoorDash
No.
Reese's. Extra $10 for $2
Guys, it's
pack
been a
of
really
Reese's.
long time, okay?
No, we
Don't
actually
fuck with me, guys, or
Don't
I'm gonna fuck
tempt
you up
me.
over these.
That was a
Reese's,
hard.
man.
A DoorDash was a damn
Touch my
addiction.
candy.
Break. I'll tell you that right there. I haven't had none in quite a few months.
Good.
I'm gonna end up having to order some now
That's-
because I said something. Watch.
Ooh, but you got that
It'll
good
end
pizza
up
place
happening.
where you were, man. That was fucking swell.
Oh yeah, that's not even like
can't
really a
remember-
picca place. That's like a bar.
It was
Convenient.
good as fuck, is what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
They do like
convenient.
a feta mozzarella blend on this pizza, this deep dish pizza. You guys,
That's my kind of pizza.
fucking amazing.
Feta.
That's good
I
shit.
like a good feta. I like a good spinach feta.
Tell them how you like to eat
Yeah.
feta sometimes.
With a little bit of dressing. Or just straight out
Dude,
the container.
Pro
honestly.
move. If you
I'll
like
eat raw
euros,
feta, yeah.
Red, you like euros.
Oh yeah.
So instead of
Fat.
having like just a regular euro where you have like the tomato and onion and then the tzatziki sauce, make them come back through and hit it with some feta, man. It's
Oh,
like
dude.
it's like a euro supreme when you put feta on there.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
make
I've been topping my burgers with feta lately. Like you throw
That's a
the
good
bun on
one.
at the end on top of the feta because it doesn't really want to melt. Then you throw
Interesting.
your top over there and it'll kind of stick to it. It'll hold it in place. It's delicious.
It's stored in a brine. It's a little bit different than a lot of other types of cheeses. I like feta. Has a hell of a shelf life.
Feta is better.
It is. I want to say that it's a low fat. They have cultured bacteria in feta. Lots of it. It's great for probiotic health. It's actually one of the better cheeses that us lactose intolerant sensitive folk can digest without it's great to put in your eggs and stuff. And it's a good way to get some calcium, and a little bit of fat in your diet. Low fat as it is. I mean, it's still made with milk fat. I want to
So
say
good.
it's mostly goat milk also, if you can really find the good fetas in the goat style. But man, it's gonna be expensive. You don't get the amount of production
Why I
out of
like goat
goats. you
cheese
got.
so much, man. I've had it a few times and I absolutely loved it, especially on like top of chicken.
They're feta. So cows have
Goats and chickens,
cows
they
have
go together.
multiple. I'm gonna get it wrong. They're not necessarily stomachs, but they're different areas for processing. And
Udders.
goats
No.
may have more or less. I'm unfamiliar, but it could have something to do with the number of times that it goes through. There might be a big difference on the texture of the different types of milks, or the quality of the different types of milks. Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Boba feta.
Goat milk's delicious.
Dude, Spartan is entertaining as fuck in the chat.
I love
He
it.
is, man. He's got that
Jokes.
giggle weed.
What's up,
tonight.
Spartan? It's a Boba Feta.
Boba feta. Careful now. We'll end up getting a Strike.
Sip it down now. Sip it down.
Being too punny. Goddess of the Moon suggests vegan feta if you're not down with dairy. Good suggestion.
You're not down with the cow.
What do they make it with?
I'm curious as well.
Not cows,
Soy.
apparently.
I hope not. So I've been hearing some things about soy.
Soy is not super great for you.
It's not super great for you.
in high quantities.
It needs to be fermented in order for your body to like uptake it or something. So it ends up turning into like
It's the weed,
undigested
not
fat
weed.
or some shit like that. So soy is like,
Yeah.
or it ends up like doing something bad with your heart health and a few other things.
There's lots of pesticides in the way it's grown. It's got a ton of estrogen in there, so it's
That
not
too.
good.
The
for
estrogen
men.
is the thing. That's the one it is. It's especially not good for men's health in that respect because it is high in estrogen and it doesn't get released unless it's fermented. So I guess soy sauce and maybe
So you're
a few
saying I'm
other
going to get titties?
potentially in a high.
Hey, I had titties when I was younger. It's a real deal.
It's a real deal. No, do you have boob sweat? That's what I wanted to know. Did you
No.
did you not have boob sweat?
High levels of soy.
Boo. Well, that took the wind out of the sails of the conversation.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
reading chat.
Yeah,
I'm reading
definitely.
chat, but yeah, I mean, there are, I'm sure, other options that you could try to roll with if vegan is what you're
Maybe
going.
like
But
pistachios or
yeah,
Yeah, Spartan.
it's
Watch
strange.
them
I don't
shakes,
know if I
man.
want to
They're
go
loaded with
down
soy.
that rabbit hole. I have nothing against the vegan philosophy. I feel like it's just incredibly misguided in a lot of senses because of the way that we farm vegetables. It's incredibly difficult to you really need to know a farmer, I suppose, to practice true veganism because commercial farming destroys animals on a daily basis. The way that they plow through the fields and spray shit. I mean, they're killing so much life. Vegetables are really growing vegetables at scale are more detrimental in some respects to growing animals at scale. So, it's just a balance. You can't. And I'm not talking about, veganism for health is one thing, but veganism for like said politics and that's a totally different ballgame. And I think that there's definitely arguments on both
I
sides.
like what Spartan is saying is he says he won't eat soy, but men can totally eat garbage from McDonald's and kill ourselves. And that's the key is just because, look, man, not very many people can, honest to God, afford to eat well. And I'm just keeping it real with you, unless you're like rolling in some big bucks or you don't have kids or shit like that.
No, I don't
It's expensive
suggest
to
eating
eat like
McDonald's
it's expensive
Yeah.
to eat
for men or women.
very, very healthy shit.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I
Just
was
because
vegan
you're
for a
eating
year.
vegan or just because something says organic or all natural is one that gets me the most. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
I was
is
vegan for a year and I ate a lot of Oreos. I'll just say that because those are vegan.
partially hydrogenated soybean oil is what you're telling me. Lots and lots of that, right?
We just have to remember, like
Yeah.
we talked about on the last episode, that craving for fast food, it's just some microbes in your stomach. Because I'm telling you, if you can break that, you
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
crave fast food no more.
Yeah. It's
It only takes about a month or two.
it's a tricky. They're tricking you.
It's funny how many things you'll stop doing if you stop doing them for a month. Like once you stop drinking milk for a while, if you go like a long time without drinking milk and somebody tries to hand you some, shit's not good. You're like,
That
"Ooh."
was the little bit of a epiphany that I kind of came across while I was
I'm gonna get through this
Let's
joint
say
eventually. I've probably
influenced,
relived this
right?
probably like 15 times already if you want to count.
but when
it
I
out.
quit smoking cigarettes, I look back on what other thing like I was like, all right, man, this is a jump. Quitting smoking cigarettes is a lifestyle change, and everything smells like you do it all the time, right? Before you do anything, right? After most things. Lifestyle change, complete kicker. So I'm thinking about what other massive lifestyle changes. And in fact, I had a couple months earlier was when I had really kicked dairy out of my diet. And I hadn't been eating any for a couple of months. And I was like diligently ingredients checking and doing a lot of things because I was having some pretty gnarly reactions. Incredibly low intestine reactions to like is minimal as like whey in the ingredients or something like that, and over time it's cleared. I'm like, I can eat cheese for the most part. I like butter and milk and direct dairy products, I can't do them. They it's like a painful lower intestine inflammation. And then
You tried Fairlife Red, the stuff with like no lactose. It's like
yeah, I used
super
to drink it a
filtered.
lot, and then I keened up to kind of some of their large scale commercial farming
Oh, yeah, that's
practices.
right.
Owned by
Forgot about that.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
they're
stuff.
terrible. Their cows, right? I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I
Well,
kind of
fucking cows are a problem anyway, because it's like it takes more land and shit to fucking raise cows, and they're still slashing shit out for them and everything else.
yeah.
Like,
I'm not necessarily
stop
cool
supporting
with,
McDonald's in general.
yeah. I'm not cool with like large factory farms at all. You know, period. I think that everything should be permaculture. I think that I
Delta
think that
9.
you should have a milking cow. You know,
See,
on
it says
your
it took a 3-year
property.
tolerance break once. He's talking about fast food. It was quite an evening when it ended. Yeah, man.
I still think about the bad food every day.
I can't eat it anymore.
Think about it.
I'll actually be sick ridden with like headaches and just cheers, Captain. It's just, you know, just from eating even now, like even a fillet of fish now, because, and no, it's not because it's the fish. You know, I eat fillet of fish all the time before, but now it's just like
Good mercury.
some of the
Salty.
fries. Yeah, it's just no way. It's so salty. Like,
I
my
almost
big
got a
kick was
milkshake
double
today.
cheeseburgers.
I was so
Yeah.
close to stopping,
Milkshakes.
getting a milkshake.
It's mostly sugar, but I don't know. It's
Well, I had a bad day. I was like,
yeah.
I need
yeah,
some comfort
that's
food.
it.
It's
That's
coping
it, right?
food. I'm
That's
telling
it.
you,
It
it
is.
goes back to what I was saying.
I was so close. So close.
But it's also
Big Daddy
tough,
said
right?
some normal guy should run for
It's
president at a
expensive.
no party. We're trying to get Spartan to
Mm.
someday.
Food's expensive, man. It's incredibly difficult to eat.
The question is,
any
who would be
type
his
of,
vice president? I put Painted Lady up for vice
I don't
president
like
just so
saying
we can keep him
healthy.
like frictiony
that'd
and
be
shit.
great.
That's ridiculous.
Anybody who supports plants.
How
I say-
about
I say we
Painted Lady
just-
can be president?
I say we just
and
make a
he can
plant
be vice president.
president.
So you're gonna make Spartan the vice president now?
Yeah, he'll have to answer to lavender. There's a pot of lavender.
Lavender.
You gotta get high as shit and speak with it. Understand the underlying truth that it will give you.
Are you talking about lavender?
Yeah, the plant
Oh,
rules all. Or a sunflower. Maybe a sunflower would be better to communicate with. They're taller. You can look up to them. Spartan's a tall dude. You gotta have a plant that's taller than that dude. Spartan dose 3.6 grams psilocybin, and then look up to the sunflower, and he will dictate, you know, how to treat
You'll
the people.
transform.
Yeah, he'll tell you how to treat the people. No, but seriously, man,
The metamorphosis
can
is
we all
real.
do that?
yeah, I personally think everybody should do that. That's that's one of the best ways to really have that epiphany of like, holy shit, everything is overly processed and fake. And I really get it too, man, because I'm a cannabis gardener. A lot of us, I think a lot of people tuning in are cannabis gardeners. A lot of our
It's a little bit of a
fan base
crossover.
comes from Michigan Bros Grow Show. So you understand inputs to your cannabis plants. You understand how important the inputs are to your cannabis plants. A lot of organic growers are very much in disagreement with synthetic inputs. There may be a crossover of vice versa there, but usually not so much. I think a lot of even synthetic growers understand that organics may even be a less intrusive way
I think that just comes with experience, honestly. And you in the beginning in organics, you get really zealot like that, but then you start to realize that there's a need for synthetics in certain conditions.
Sure.
You can't always do organics.
Yeah. And either way, there's an understanding of just the health, the overall health. Even still, I understand as a synthetic farmer that I'm limited in minerals and whatever activity I'm going to get by whatever my input is in that bag that I bought. In the ground outside, or, you know, if you're creating a living, breathing organism to grow in, you may encounter a different reaction with the minerals and things like that than what we can see in synthetic growing, you know. Especially and you may unlock more minerals to uptake by the plant. You may unlock more sugars and all kinds of other things. And so we all understand that we want the best health for our plants, you know, and how to do that. And it's almost one of those epiphanies that I had one time that was like, holy shit, I'm not just like eating synthetic nutrients. I'm eating like the worst. I'm eating like Miracle Grow synthetic nutrients. I'm just eating like Hawthorne shit, you know, like I'm eating the worst of the worst. I'm not even eating anything that's had good numbers on, you know. So
right, but it's not 18 fucking 14, and you can't just slam them on the brakes on your life and be like, okay, well, I'm going to raise my animals, I'm going to grow all my own vegetables, I'm going to have this aquaponics thing, I'm going to do all this, I'm going to chop all the hay, and I'm going to make sure that I go to bed by 5:30 every evening because I'm fucking beat.
It's not what you got to do.
God,
At all. You can do it at the grocery store, but it gets more expensive.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that
it's
you
like,
could do it in the corner, your grow room. You could grow yourself a patch of parsley or some shit. For me, that'd be beneficial because I wouldn't have to buy that additional parsley to put in my spinach pie or something like that, you know, and it's gonna have a decently quick turnover rate or whatever. I think there's some smart options to be able to do it. But anyways, regardless, the point being for me personally, recognizing this, you know, this relationship, this you know, seeing the plant as something a little more intellectual than what most people think of a plant as being, seeing the plant as being maybe like a sentient being or something like that. If we think of a plant as being dumb and it requires so much fragility of maintenance, you know, to reap, you know, its full potential, like why would we treat ourselves or other people or anything like that with less respect than what we made a plant or something like that? You know,
I shared that video with you guys in chat about the singing mushrooms this week, where they fucking
energy things to it.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I cannot remember what it was. I seen it on Reddit and I was like, oh, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, it just runs off the electrical current inside the mushroom or whatever. I don't remember what the
changed.
tool is.
It wasn't just like a static, like one solitary tone, which I could, like, if it was only one tone, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I can dig that. But it was like massively, wildly oscillating, which I thought was strange that the sound would oscillate as something that's static. What would cause the sound to do that? But I'm fucking stupid, so it doesn't really matter. It's just interesting observation.
Super fascinating. I mean, all of us here on this panel, I'm sure, believe that there's some kind of higher connection down there in the ground that we don't fully understand yet.
Damn, Spartan is just going in.
I know. Don't curse it.
From
dude,
thumb love to
please.
dogs, and here
man.
we're back again.
He's being good. He's asleep.
Whatever Pheno this is the shit talking Pheno, Spartan.
All good.
The trash talk Pheno.
Yeah, what are you smoking on? I want some of that.
Some ruthless street shit.
Smoke some of that and go do an open mic.
Get hustle a little bit of money up so I can buy some groceries, so I can afford some groceries.
That is a big thing. Trying to eat healthy is damn the cost of groceries. So yeah, it's a way easier to eat shitty or
Garbage.
cheaper to eat shitty. Yeah.
Dude, but even I know we were talking about DoorDash earlier, but even that, the prices have gone up so
Prices are so
much.
expensive, man.
on
Inflation, baby.
everything.
I got a tuna sandwich.
Inflation is a real Skilbo.
It just seems
local
like it was the
Cognac.
last like little bit though that things just have all of a sudden jumped.
Oh yeah. I don't think it's slowing down. It was like $10 for a tuna sandwich.
Get the fuck out of town. It's like
a
75 cents for a
sandwich.
motherfucking can of tuna.
$10, dude. $10 for a tuna
Silliness.
sandwich,
With
75 cents.
lettuce
Silly.
and a
That's
tomato.
like going to
willing
the
to
fucking
bet- I'd be
restaurant and
willing to
buying
bet
oatmeal for
$2 for a can of
$6,
tuna.
and it doesn't even
Yeah.
have any fruit in it.
I'd be willing to bet can of tuna.
Just
is
here, some dude
$2.50.
fucking added some hot water to this shit and stirred it up and threw it in the
Yeah.
microwave for
Need a
2.5
cook-off.
minutes.
No
Don't burn
fries,
yourself.
No sides, nothing. $10.
$2.99. You got to be a reward to
Silliness.
get $2.50. But I bet that's probably what those fucking prices are right now. Yeah. I mean, it's shipping issue. It's production issues. It's supply and
you can-
demand. People still pay it, so they're going to sell at those costs, those prices. I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, I pay it willingly, I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. It is the price of what it is, so at this moment, all I can really do is plan ahead, I suppose, and just kind of think about what I'm able to sacrifice to be able to live more frugally, and
Frugal
and
forcefully.
or yeah, and or can I, just make other decisions and try to, rebalance the budget in order to, right now it's literally survival because food is one of our needs. And here's the deal though, I mean, without mineral density, we talk about mineral density, when we really get into food, man, like talk about, when we talk about mineral density in our cannabis and stuff like that, that totally equates with our food as well. And we don't eat mineral dense food, like basically we could be like, for example, like you eat a meal from McDonald's, and you eat it. You spent, maybe you didn't even spend that much, but it looked like a bunch of food. For me, it'd be like 3 burgers, fries, and maybe some other little whatevers, maybe even nuggets and some shit, dude. And I eat it. I'm not even hungry.
Dude,
It's 'cause
nuggets
there's,
are the worst.
There's no minerals, it's just shit that just stores to you. It doesn't even like process properly. Or it just blows out in your feces and you don't absorb any nutrition out of it at all. You know what I mean? That's why you don't really feel full. And or you continue to keep eating more and more and more because because of that unsatisfied feeling. And then all it's doing is it doesn't come out in our feces or anything like that. It stores in us, unlike the mineral dense shit that will actually, metabolize and work through its processes. It may not necessarily
Yeah,
be
you're not supposed to paint the bowl, guys. You should
Yeah, and it
come
may
out
not
once,
necessarily
sell a
be
piece.
vegetables either, raw vegetables, you know what I mean? It might be like all kinds of great meals, you know what I mean? You do all kinds of great meals that are mineral dense, but I think the idea is that paradigm shift of synthetic first, not even like, I don't know, not even like good food, but like mineral dense food. It's not even about eating healthy, it's about eating mineral dense food. It's just about eating normal, eating what people were eating 60 years ago, because it was pre, this overtake with all the commercial, I shouldn't say factory, like not just farms, factory, food establishments and schools, school foods, factory food, it's all the same. We get it from an incredibly early age, baby formulas, things like that. A lot of
Canned
it.
fruit cocktail, sir.
Oh, sugar water and fruit. Oh yeah, I do grew up on that stuff.
My generation was abnormally
PB&J.
taller, I believe, than the other generations. 'Cause I grew up in that generation that had the steroids in the meat, like a ton of steroids.
Mhm.
I swear we were like 6 inches taller than everybody else.
Oh yeah, we are all getting steroids.
I'm gonna tell you something. As a really tall
not that
person,
tall.
it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
unnerving to finally see somebody that's fucking taller than you. Like, what the fuck?
You're
Tall
telling
people know.
me.
It is, man. I've always been tall, and I look up to damn all of you but Red.
When I see somebody taller than one of you tall guys, I get really freaked out.
Damn it, dude's big. Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not preaching like everybody run a healthy lifestyle or anything like that. I'm more frustrated with the way that most people don't understand that food is bad. That most, even the grocery store vegetables are grown, bad in a lot of ways. There's good vegetable, right. There's good products out there. There are good farms that are selling to grocery stores. Don't get me wrong. But I think at the mass scale or urban areas and things like that, we're getting shit food. And that is our number one need. That's our need, that it is. And I would only be saying this, I don't care, we're all sovereign people, man. Y'all do what you want to do. But the problem is that when people get unhealthy like that, it affects them in the gut and it affects them up here. And that's where then you have like people driving erratically on the road, and then that does affect, I actually I responded to a car accident yesterday. While I was at work, I was taking out some signs, and while I was outside, right behind me, 15 feet away, 10 feet, however wide the lane of traffic is, a car accident where two cars basically hit head on, all airbags blew off. Both cars, front ends of both cars were completely totaled. You know what I mean? Radiators exposed, shit blown out, and like everywhere, dude. I thought gunshots were being shot. I fucking did my thing. Until I turned around and I actually saw that there was an accident. You know what I mean? But it's just, and it is what it is. I'm not saying that that is directly related. I'm just saying that there's a lot of frustration, whatever reason made that person, feel frustrated enough to turn, it's unsafe. There are unsafe, there are ways that environments become unsafe because of other people's actions, so in a way, yeah, maybe it can affect me. If somebody's, feeling a little malnourished that day and they just so happen to be driving erratically, I'm not saying it's directly related to that, but in most cases, the way we feel is directly related to the way that we are eating.
That's a good point. I actually realized that today. I thought that my brain was kind of misfiring a little bit, and it's because I
Dr.
needed to drink some
D's.
water. Drank some water,
Okay.
felt better, got going.
Now Skilbo's going to teach us with a little something that could probably start helping out our collective
Should have
mental
spotlighted me
health.
red.
Oh, here. Well, let me do that. I'm actually terrible at that.
I finally got the camera working along and shit.
There we go.
Bam.
We have electrolytes, vitamins,
Look at them Vanna White
digestive
skills.
enzymes, and amino acids. Looks like a water kefir. This flavors
Dr.
tart
D.
cherry.
Dr. D's, huh?
Live probiotics.
Live probiotics. Yeah, man. Oops, come on back in there. Work for me. We go full
Skilbo,
baked
I
with it.
like your tapestry.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you. Yeah, man. If you really, really pay close attention, you can really figure out what it is that's on the inside there over top of like my shoulder.
See, did the spotlight on there?
It's
us?
spotlight, but can you see what it is?
It's still spotlighted on you?
No.
I hit gallery view on my end.
No, it's gallery again.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure I got the spotlight or if I
think.
that
You
may be
did.
the
No,
first spotlight.
I'm still stuck with the
Still
posted in
spotlighted?
me. So
Maybe
you have to
on
right
YouTube.
click the picture,
Maybe on YouTube.
remove
Oh, no.
spotlight.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Remove spotlight. There we go. That should have removed you.
And now
All
we're back
right.
in gallery view and everybody's happy.
There we go. Yeah. And that there, man. I mean, even if you can't afford, or not, I shouldn't even say can't afford, because we all are affording our food. But even if you, like, let's say, can't grow your own food, fruits, vegetables, acquire that, you start there. I mean, right, for a couple bucks, that could at least be an additional bit to start helping your gut health, to help your mental health, to at least help cope with the prices of food and shit like that. It's a little bit extra, but it's gonna help, man. It's gonna help your digestion. It's gonna help process some of that stuff. That's my thing, man. I got a busted tooth. I'm feeling the fragility. Like, why do I have a busted tooth? I should be able to chew things.
Well, because you fucking went down to eat something out of the garden and you accidentally grabbed a small rock and like chewed that shit up along with
I wish it was
some purple kale or
it was
something.
it was just a popcorn kernel, man. Chowing on them since a kid, but sure enough, man, one of them, got me, and it sucks. But otherwise, I truly relate that to mostly of my diet. The lack of mineral dense food, lack of strong bone health, and things like that.
Well, it's
So,
hard for younger people though, because they don't really understand like if you're of a certain age, let me say it a certain way. If you're of a certain age, you will say that tomatoes used to taste a lot more flavorful and better.
sure.
Same thing with apples and shit too. Like, wow, those are just a lot better. And
When-
so, why do all these old people say that? Is it because it's just a big conspiracy and we're all in on it? We can't agree on shit as it is. We couldn't agree to keep some crazy story like that alive.
Tomatoes
Is it
still
just
taste great.
nostalgia?
They'll
Is
taste
there a
great.
difference in it? Yeah. What's really going on?
Well, the difference is they're not coming out of people's backyards as much. grow them. They're not doing natural. They're not using natural inputs. They're using miracle grows still, even if they are growing them in their backyard. And so they're still just tasting like whatever 17 or 18 minerals, if that. I mean, most of those products may not even have that, and they might not even be including micro. They might just be including NPK, dude. You know,
Well,
most people
And
only
growth
eat
hormones and everything.
NPK.
It's just you're
okay,
eating water.
I got an even
We're
worse
eating
one for you
three
though.
minerals.
So the area where I grew up at has a really, really large factory. And this factory used to work with a lot of brass and shit like that. So not only did it really, really reek a lot when I was a kid, you could smell it. It actually, all of the crap that was coming out of the stacks there, like really damaged a lot of like people's property and stuff. So think about that. If you lived on this one street and you're trying to be healthy and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm going to grow my own vegetables. That's what I'm going to do. So you're out there and you're really eating a bunch of fucking weird, crazy poisons and leads and other things that are just maybe
Yeah.
flying over and shit like that.
That's
You don't
very
even think
true.
about that,
That's
you
very
know,
true.
because it's all fucked up now, man.
Most people will get compost from their city. And while this could be a very, very frugal source, you know, to be able to get, and you know, if it works, it works. I would say you probably, depending on where I probably wouldn't use it for tobacco or cannabis, or like cannabis is a bioaccumulator. So if I'm going to be smoking it, I'm probably not going to use stuff that potentially does have herbicides and pesticides. A lot of people get their lawn sprayed. And then a lot of that stuff that's at the city, I mean, a lot of people get their lawn sprayed, man. And a lot of that stuff that goes to the city is just people's yard waste, and grass clippings included. And then that stuff gets composted. And I'm sure that there's some enzymes hopefully being added to it that are starting to break some of that stuff down. But I'm sure there's a lot of heavy metals. It's still rich in heavy metals. I've never done a soil test on town's compost, so I can't be sure or 100%. I'm only hypothesizing that it's probably, you might want to do your own testing. So that's probably the only thing I could probably say on that one, because yeah, man, Skilbo, you're right, dude. That stuff's not the best. We're in a time where we've officially just plowed everything with a lot of chemicals. They're being used everywhere. They're
Well,
being
nothing
used
gets
for
replaced
everything.
either. There's no fucking natural order of things breaking down anymore. And, you know, like one of the big things is, as like a homeowner, okay, I don't rake my fucking leaves. You know why? Fuck that shit. I'm gonna let that break down and get into the soil and everything else, man.
Use it.
And
Use it.
people like
Yeah.
spend all kinds of time and effort to like manicure their lawns and do all this, and it's like, dude, there's no regenerative cycle for anything. Nothing. And if they see some kind of regenerative thing, they're like, oh, that fucking field across the street, man, why does that stuff always grow so well? Well, why do you think it grows so well? A, it's a weed, and B, there's a whole lot of shit going on over there because there's a lot of things breaking down and everything's working together. Instead of me being out there fickle as fuck, fucking around, riding on a lawnmower, trying to, you know, make sure I don't get any crabgrass.
I bring this up because I have enough space to have a garden in the backyard, and because a lot of people throw away their yard waste to the city, and they spend the money on the bags. And a lot of times, by the time the trees actually drop their leaves and there are leaves to clean up, the city is done cleaning picking up yard waste, right? So you end up sitting on bags of leaves. The bottoms break out of them by spring. You pick them up and go to move them across the yard. All of a sudden you got a pile of now moldy leaves in your yard, you know, that haven't had a chance. Now it's anaerobic, gross stuff. Didn't even get a chance
It
to
smells horrible if you move it.
break
Like,
down
oh.
properly, right, dude? You know, it's just been getting wet and rained on for 6 months. You know, you don't have, you can't put it in your garage. You want to put it where your cars are at or whatever, or where your cannabis is at, for that matter. You know, so like, yeah, I've ran into that many times before. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Giving all of this rich, like in my case, you know, gold for my plant, you know, the food for my plants. I'm giving it to the city. I started keeping it. I started collecting it from my neighbors, from the street, and doing other things with that because it's got road waste on it. But like, there's lots of things that we can do small scale. I suppose even if you're doing a rental, take
Yeah,
pride in
man.
just helping out that land, that you're on, just whether or not it's a
Man.
4x8 garden bed or something, it might be a good spot to toss all your seeds and stems, sticks and stems, and even your compost and your food, man. It might be like, I'm one house, collectively we're one house. Have a philosophy of not generating that much waste. Try to limit the amount of stuff that does go to the landfill. You can do this no matter where you live. If you're able, it's incredibly difficult with apartments, but there's usually community gardens or something somewhere. Maybe you're able to collect
If
a
there's
five
not, start
gallon
one.
bucket 5 gallon bucket worth of compost and donate it to somebody if you can, or something like that. But don't throw that compost away. Don't throw those vegetables away. You know what I mean? If you can, and you have a yard, or you have your own small garden, or you have your own like compost
Dude,
box,
start a fucking worm bin.
compost that shit.
Start a
Worms,
worm
exactly.
bin, or start fucking with like bokashi and shit
Get a
like that.
paper
If you got a bunch
shredder.
of like fresh food waste and shit, because you're like on track and you're eating really, really healthy and stuff,
It's not
look
gonna
into
smell
bokashi.
if
Look
you
into starting a worm bin, letting all that stuff
keep it
break down, because
balanced.
all of the NPK that's left over in that pulled out of the ground has got to get back in there somehow. So think about how you can harness that, and you may be able to do things in your own garden, not just outdoors, but also in. And a worm bin takes absolutely fucking dick all space. How it's as big as one tote, or as small as whatever you want to. You can make it as small as a shoebox if you wanted to. So it's never a space thing. It's not a smell thing. And people are like, oh my God, I'm going to have so many flies and bugs and
Right.
shit in my house. No, you only have that if you're a stupid motherfucker and don't make sure that you cover it with something else.
Right.
You can't have like moldy food and shit sitting on top. And we don't put blood, any kind of things like that in there. We only use plant materials. But it's only going to have bugs and stuff if you are putting in too much. Just like if you put in too much when you've got worms, it'll get really fucking hot and you can potentially kill all your worms because the temperature will just go crazy and they'll try to climb up the sides of the worm bin. We've kind of beat this dead horse. We've come up on 1 hour of just bullshitting about.
Well, we went around we went way off topic, guys, which is perfect. I'm happy we did. I love this topic, man. It's the winter time, and it's all I do in the winter time is I look up different. I just watch YouTube, man. I watch different content creators lives on like either natural farming, permaculture.
Can you give some shout outs on some channels we can be checking out?
Man, I'll shout out. He was just on Future Cannabis Project, but Stephen Cornett from Nature's Always Right. I've been following that dude for many years, man. It's pretty cool to see him on there. He was California market gardener, like small, like quarter, maybe half acre market garden, quarter acre, I'm sure. It was super small. He had chickens, the whole nine, running uh no-till market style garden, man. It was super cool. He was using JDAM, KNF, all kinds of tips and tricks from Dr. Lane Ingham, and doing the whole regenerative thing, small scale vegetable stuff. I've never seen him do cannabis content ever, but I've always been following him because he is a regenerative agriculture dude. Now he has property in, I think, either Tennessee or Kentucky, maybe Tennessee. He's got a nice, like, I don't know, 16, 17 acre farm, and is doing the thing, and it's cool to like watch him do it. So I definitely shout out his channel for that type of stuff, because he's into mushroom cultivation. He'll teach you how to like run shiitake logs, how to inoculate, all that stuff. He's got some really cool tutorials on that. He's also getting into some animal farming and things, but we don't have to get back into that topic. But anyways, also a big shout out to probably Justin Rhodes on the permaculture thing. He does like a big, like huge, same deal, like maybe like 10-acre family farm, a market garden. He does a lot of, he uses chickens, man, chickens, no till. He doesn't, all these guys do very, very minimal labor. They don't run tractors. They don't run, I mean, the most labor is probably getting supplies to and from what you need to do. I mean, these guys are hoisting chickens up in a spot, calling them like chicken tractors and things like that, put them over a plot for like 2 weeks and just letting them do their business, feeding them food scraps and stuff. And then after that, building a no-till bed right over top of that, and so I'm thinking of
Dude,
all of these different
good one
ways
too.
to apply this to cannabis, mushroom growing. Go ahead, Skilbo.
A good one that you can also do is if you have like, let's say you have like 3 or 4 acres, but it's kind of overgrown and fucked up and shit. There's some big trees, but there's a lot of scrab and bullshit. Look around and see if you can rent some goats, because you can literally put up a fence around an area, and in like a week's time, a goat will just manicure that shit and bring anything that's green. It'll take care of it, man.
They
What
use
I'm
goats
learning
to
is-
clear out the coastline in the town that I live in.
Yeah,
There's
man.
a lake here. It's hilarious.
Yep.
They get
yourself
to
some
it, man.
feta cheese, baby.
We're gonna make some goat cheese on the side
some
after
goat
they
cheese
eat
on the
through my
side.
brackish bullshit undergrowth.
No, Robert, I'm not saying not to have a tractor, of course. I'm just saying not to invasively use the tractor the way that they're mostly used. Because you're planting is it's such a different scale that it's not required. If you use it, you're going to destroy what you built, We're talking single species per like single rows of like 36 inches or something like that. That a lot of these can make high density, incredibly profitable farms by doing these at small, like talking same yields as at a 1/10 of the scale as a commercial farm that's using the old, I'm gonna now call this the old farming, even though this new method of farming that we're talking about today is really the old method of farming. Because really we're just talking about letting nature do most of the work. Like Steven's channel, I've always loved the name of his, Nature's Always Right. I mean, it's just, it is what that's the phrase right there. Just let it balance out, let it do its job. If we can limit the amount of interaction that we really have with it, maybe just do the planting. And like,
I mean, you could almost say something as bold as to say the way that we grow food is fucking not right.
It's yeah, correct.
We're like overcomplicating shit.
Much overcomplicated. Yeah, because of the way that we grow. Go ahead, Spartan. Or I mean Spartan. See that, Spartan? You got me all.
See?
all
He
Spartan.
he's on his mind. But I mean, it's a good point there, but it's almost too late now, because we've like torn up so much of our soil that we almost have to farm like this to keep up with the food demand. It would be really nice if everybody could completely convert over. I mean,
Well, we're not going to be able to do that.
yeah, because this type of stuff, like when up and going, like fully running, like that's quite a few years down the road. Like it's a lot of work in the beginning, and yeah, your yields will be smaller at start. But once
That's what happened to me,
out,
dude. When I started that fucking 4x8 bed, I was, before that, I was rocking and rolling in 7-gallon pots and crushing it, and doing really good. Once I started that bed, fuck, it took me at least 3, maybe 4 cycles before it kind of got to the point where it was figuring out what it was doing, and the plants weren't, showing any kind of weirdness. And then as the next year that I ran it, it got even better. And then the time after that, before I had to shut it down, was fucking like sit back and do very little.
So think about that as, a season. If that was an outdoor thing, you mix that up 1 year, maybe you fuck with it. Maybe you plant some cover crop and attempt to plant something that you're going to eat off of or medicate off of, but the following year it's booming. The following year after that, it's raging, and if you're controlling your inputs, you're going to get those inputs back. It's going to give back to you in the form of mineral density, sugars, carbohydrates, all of these things that are good for us.
Well, think about it like this, Red. When we're doing, we were talking about synthetics and organics, and maybe I'm wrong in this, but I'll just throw this out there because I don't mind being wrong. To me, it almost seems like in the organic side of things, the microbes are doing all the heavy lifting. And in the synthetic line, we don't want anything else to be alive. We just want to supply things immediately and put them all in the soil. So when I first started growing, I used to have a very hard time. And I would say, okay, well, let's think about this for a minute. So let's say that we're running a product line and it wants us to use like 3-2-1 of whatever it is for NPK, right? So it's 3-2-1. So in the first week, let's say that it uses all 3 of the nitrogen and it uses both of the phosphorus and it doesn't use any potassium. So the next week when I come through and I feed, so now I'm going to do 3-2-1 again. The soil actually is going to be 3-2-2 because it didn't use any of that phosphorus from the first week, right? Potassium, whatever. So if it goes 3 or 4 weeks, I used to think, well, wait a minute, it's just hanging out in the soil, and what's going on with it? Because what goes in must come out. And then my good buddy Spartan and I used to talk, and one of the deals with that raised bed again was that I was taking all of my leaves and mulching them down into the soil. And my thinking was that I can't just always subtract from the bed. I have to add things back to it because I'm not feeding it every week. I'm not doing all kinds of crazy shit to it. I'm trying to get it to do what it needs to do until, okay, cool. Yeah. The plants are happy. Everything's running. So it's just a very, very different approach to things.
Save your soil, people. Like, if there's anything that I want to leave behind and teach everybody is to cultivate some soil and keep it going. I believe that's been like the key to where I've gotten like some of the most flavorful cannabis is because I keep my soil. Like, I still have some of the soil that I started doing the Coco Loco with all these years ago.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. It kills me when I see people throwing away soil. Like, I don't get it. Like, cultivate those microbes, make an ecosystem. Like, it's gonna nature. I hate to tell you, I don't care how smart you are, nature can do it better. Nature's smarter than us. That's just the way it is.
Well,
Why fight
nature
it?
is just like your grow room, really. If you want to really stop and think about it, if the environment is right, and if we want to talk about it being like a tripper, if the set and setting are right, then you'll see it express itself one way. And then if everything's not right, if things are out of balance, then you're going to see that expressed as well.
See a lot of, well, a lot of good input in chat about this.
I want to give
one.
Chad a shout out, Red, because you know
Huge
what?
shout
This
out.
whole time
It's
we've been
rolling.
talking, there's been like a great balance between fucking great comedy and adding to the conversation.
Mhm.
So cheers, everybody in chat. I really, really appreciate you guys, man. Again, this new time and shit seems to really be working out well. It's nice to see a lot of you here.
I like the sentiment of this this understanding of the way that we're treating the
Somebody
cycle
call
of
for hashtime
life.
here. Hashtime.
The
That's the
cycle
original
of
old school
life
bell.
with factory farming, commercial farming, monoculture, whatever you want to call it. It's hydroponic even in clay, right? But I don't think that the answer is I think the animals are really needed in a lot of farming ways. Like when I'm watching people who are successfully running market gardens, that would very well feed, people who are on a vegetable only diet. I think that this is, I'm not saying that people who eat vegetable only can't eat vegetable only. I think that people still have their decision on what they want to do. I think that people need to be mindful of what's going on with where their food comes. People need to understand where their food comes from. Is the point. I think people need to be more mindful. People don't need to stop doing this or start doing that. I think that people just need to be more mindful, understand what their intake is, what they're supporting, where their dollar's going. When they do buy a burger that costs, $1.12, understand that you're supporting a company that's slaughtering zillions of cows. I'm just gonna make up a number, however many cows and using up that much grain. And yeah, that's where this destruction of the soils come from. But somebody who's using a cow, on a farm because it actually helps create nitrogen rich fertilizer, and then at the end of its life cycle they butcher it and share it amongst a family, and I think that's or sell it, and make income for their family so they can buy other things for their farm to create vegetables for the vegans. You know what I mean? I think that there's still a necessity, right? Again, there's a balance. we should have a vegan carnivore balance, but we should all be mindful. I don't think that it's right to tell anybody that they need to do one or the other, except be mindful of what we are doing to ourselves and to each other and to the planet and the environment. Go ahead, Skilbo.
That's all you can really do is just remain mindful. But at the end of the day, you cannot obsess about this shit either. You cannot allow yourself to get sucked into the woe is me, everything's fucking trash, we might as well set it on fire and fucking shoot to the stars.
No, I think it's
there's a
good
weird
optimistic
thing
too.
that you have to learn to do as someone, I think, that lives in the 21st century, is you have to be able to balance between like
It's got a good
the stark
balance,
reality
so.
of shit staring you in the fucking face. Like, bro, you know what? Let me use this as a fucking analogy. All right. So I was able to stop smoking for a week, which is great. That's fucking fantastic. You know what? I can almost kind of feel some differences, but it doesn't negate the fact that I did it for 35 years. It's not some magical thing that we can just change. And if we just change one thing, no, dude, we fucked this shit up. You know, 220 million years ago, there was the end of a fucking, basically 90% of everything on Earth was wiped out. And it wasn't the 5-kilometer comet that crashed into the Yucatan Peninsula, basically creating the Gulf of Mexico. This is the Siberian fucking massive lava explosion that basically blocked out the sunlight for a while, and it caused everything to die off. So since no sunlight was getting down here, all the plants fucking basically died off. And then when those things died off, everything else started to die off because there was nothing to eat. And then the acidification, all the animals that died off in the ocean turned into massive acidification of the oceans, which for 200 million years was fucked up. So I don't know. Just realize that there's like a lot more going on than you can have any effect to. So being able to realize what you can and cannot fix and what you can and cannot control. Just be the best you can be. That's all you can do. Now that really took the wind out of the fucking room. The Red's over there dying because he's got no air in his lungs.
You got us both on hash time, man. We're getting our hash time in. I was depleting my lungs of oxygen during hash
you
time.
go.
Now I have to.
This
Gotta
is
increase the-
GG4 for
Gee,
Skilbo.
old school.
Oh, where'd you get it from? Whose is it?
It's old.
What company is it?
It's super old, like back stock that I have. We're down to like not very much. So
Okay.
it's kind of sad.
Red, does it have the flavor?
It's true.
Hell
North.
yeah.
It's True North.
True
Okay.
Like an
North.
old
I can't
bottle.
remember who.
An old container. That's all right.
And
Yeah.
gone.
Some commercial stuff. Commercially grown. As
I
we
don't have a
talked
problem
about
with
this.
Down to it though.
I mean,
Legit.
we used to get the ability to kind of test the shelf. So
Well, let's
I really
do
have to
this
pay
too.
for it.
Since I'm just running around and Becca's getting ready to do a dab. I used to think that like shit would be different. I used to think that like, oh man, commercial cannabis, fill in the blank. Either it's going to be trash because it's commercial, or it's going to be slam and phenomenal because it's commercial. But there's like a misgivings thing, and you have some preconceived notions on how shit's supposed to be. And there were people when we were talking about, legalization that, oh yeah, the only reason they're legalizing it is so that they can come in behind and make all the money and all of the lobbyists and all the other shit. Yeah. Okay. I get it, man. But it's still really, really nice to live in a state that isn't going to incarcerate me because I'm smoking a joint, or isn't going to try to have me committed because I did an eighth of mushrooms, because there are people out there that have.
Definitely remind me to update the title. That way, that's not a clickbait episode.
What's the clickbait title?
Oh, well, integration, which we definitely talked about, and I think still are. I mean, honestly, this has been.
Define integration for us one more time, since we're an hour and 14 minutes into this diatribe.
Let me.
Cheers,
actually-
Chad.
I had it.
Plugging
It's-
in or
it's-
out of the matrix?
It is.
I don't know. I'm not
I,
sure.
I
which one
wanna.
you want.
I don't want to be too technical with it because I don't want to be too confusing with it. So I'll put it in my own words, which is understanding the before, during, or after your psychedelic experience or whatever type of experience that you have. Okay, I like to equate this to anything if we can, but for this purpose of the show, it's a psychedelic experience. Whatever may manifest, whatever thoughts that you may have, good or bad, how you're able to apply them to your life, or how you're able to apply them into your next experience, how you're able to apply the medicine to your life. Okay. It can be taken in a lot of different ways, but the most important thing is just how can you apply the experience
Better
right,
living through chemicals.
to your life. Yeah. And for me, what really tangented the topic off was that my main, epiphany was the way that we treat our bodies compared to the way that a lot of us treat our plants, which is, this, that, and the other. And then I was really took multiple wormholes over the many, many years into agriculture, food culture, consumption. And all
It's the
that stuff.
typical thing. Yeah.
And then it just turned into a late sesh. So
Can I tell you mine that I had most recently?
I'd love to hear it.
So I was just sitting there and I was thinking, like, I am just so happy right now. Like, why can't I always be like this? Why can't I always feel like this? I just kept like thinking about it. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I can't. Like, what?
You can.
Can't. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Taking
then-
that into real life is hard because there's everything else that gets thrown at you,
Then
but it was there.
if you're having a bad day,
Dude, I've
What do
had
you
that same
think of
thing,
that?
Becca.
what do you think of that? I guess integration would be then if you're having a bad day, remembering that moment, that epiphany that you had,
Mhm.
and then allowing it to pull yourself out of having a bad day, right? You're integrating what you taught yourself or what you learned
It's
into your life.
mindfulness. It's what it all comes
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
always.
Yeah, I like that.
It comes down to
Cool.
everybody has their own little frequency, man. And since
Yeah.
I'm like huge on music, like I'm sitting here and while I'm talking to you guys, I have iTunes open and I'm playing some Eyes of the World by the Grateful Dead and a little bit quieter in my ears. So if you see me bopping around, it's because I'm jamming to music. It's not because I'm fucking tweaking out. But it's realizing that you have to set a fucking basis for yourself. You cannot allow yourself to think of it like a tree, right? So you got this big tree, big oak tree. There's a bunch of fucking leaves. So the wind blows, which is like life happens, right? So the wind blows and the fucking leaves start blowing and making a bunch of noise and some fall off and all kinds of bullshit, right? Remember that you're the tree and not the leaves. Your leaves are your thoughts. Your leaves are your impressions. Like you're still the tree. And I know that probably doesn't make sense to but maybe 2 or 3 people out there because I'm either really stoned or improperly describing it. But it's just
like that.
realize like
Treatment.
that you are kind of an unflappable thing. You can allow yourself to give rise to anger. You can allow yourself to give rise to sadness and loss and emptiness, to worry and anxiety. Hey, Hillbilly, thank you, brother. See, he's like waking up to find out
Hell
that
yeah.
you were the eyes of the
Like it.
world. Yeah, man.
Like it.
That is a really good analogy there, Skilbo, and one that I need to remember myself. Like, you really can, like, you before anything bad had happened to me, I always had that mind control. Like, yeah, what does it matter? I'm me. I'll just keep going. I know what to do. But that's I really like that analogy. I got it. Your thoughts, you really can't just shake them off. It's not. It's you can't just
Their
go.
thoughts. There's
Yeah.
like the whole thing on people like meditation and shit. Why people are like, oh, I could never meditate. That shit doesn't make any sense. No, it's because it's being improperly explained. It's not a matter of like stopping thoughts. You're never going to get to the point where there's like no thought, but you damn sure can get to the point where you're not clinging to that thought after the moment that it occurs. So thoughts are going to come up. They're going to hang around for a minute, and depends on
Talk
how
about
you fucking
easing
interact with the
chatter.
bullshit is going to matter how long they hang around for. Be mindful, always reset to self.
Talk about easing that chatter.
It's
Yes,
easy to
the
get
monkey
caught
mind.
up. It's easy to get
Sure
caught
it
up
is.
in
Sure.
everything that's going on.
It's easy to play the victim too.
Mhm.
Oh, if this would have happened or that. Don't ever play the should, could, would, might, maybe, if game. That's a fool's fucking errand, and you're just going to make yourself miserable now for some shit that's not even true.
Jump up and over it. My philosophy is keep moving forward as
yeah,
best
man.
as I can. Get upset for the
That's the
moment,
philosophy.
shake it off. I get upset, man. I get frustrated. I do my best to shake it off.
That's where you integrate these, though, is sometimes when you're
Yeah.
really, really having a bad day, maybe you need to just sit down and smoke a joint.
Yeah.
Maybe you are a little bit further than that, and the joint's not helping you anymore, and you start talking about, man, I think I need a reset, man. Like, I got to
Well-
recharge my battery. I got to get back to my pH neutral, whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use, doesn't really matter. But you're better living through chemicals. You're trying to do that reset. You're trying to find that balance and to be who the fuck you are all the time.
I haven't had
Good.
caffeine since I think last Friday. I think tomorrow will end up being a week.
Any headaches?
Oh yeah. The first couple of days it felt like shit. There was a I don't think it's related today. I don't know what it is. I think there's just a lot going on. I have a really hard time breathing again. Similarly to the like panic attack style. So I think there's that going on. My resting heart rate's been up a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
I think I texted you before you woke up and like kind of already set the
it's possible. It's possible. I
set
slept
your
weird.
headspace.
Yeah, maybe. So
Something going
like
around.
yeah, but like there's a lot of external factors. So I think that's mostly what it was. And I don't think it's related to the caffeine loss that I've had over the last week. But like
No, but it's the chemical difference.
yeah, definitely. And so my perception is starting to change back a little bit. I've been drinking a lot of just basic herbal teas and stuff like that. It felt really good. I've been drinking a lot of hot water, similarly to just like kind of still doing the motion, the habitual drinking motion. But I was feeling like shit. So I was like trying to cut out a lot of the dairy and the meat again.
I've had very minimal this week.
Had incredibly minimal meat this week. We had some ground turkey, like tacos, basically ground turkey nachos yesterday. But otherwise, I've just been eating salads and soups. Made a big soup yesterday. I don't even think I've had any meat today. And no, I haven't. Had like a tiny drop of some shredded cheese on an egg. Oh, I had an egg. I did. I had an egg today. That's what I had. So I guess I did eat meat today. But either way, so
You consider egg meat?
I don't know, man. It's
That's
I would consider
protein.
turkey meat.
It's definitely meat to like vegans and vegetarian. Well, depending on what type of vegetarian you are, I suppose you can still be a vegetarian and eat eggs.
I don't think that
fish, but
anybody thinks that cheese or that eggs are meat.
I don't know.
It's a
It's a protein. I don't know.
Yeah,
Depends
it's
on how
not.
your meat.
It's not made into like a
not a
living
dead
creature at
animal.
that point. Yeah.
Not a dead animal, I suppose.
I'm
But
sorry to just keep talking about this. Keep going. It's
I don't
not
know.
that big of a point.
but yeah, man, I had to switch up my diet, and that again, man, that's my integration. I realized something through my experiences that I was like, man, I'm just feeling off again. I kicked my old diet habits, long ago with the holidays and all that, like I usually do. I started allowing myself to eat more salty meats like ham and stuff like that, things I don't normally eat, bacon and all kinds of wild stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's crazy. I mean, for me, it can give me an excruciating headache sometimes if I eat too much of it. And eating too much sugary foods, like a handful full of fucking worm, little gummy worms and shit like
I
that.
brought them for me.
I'm not talking about what's directly in front of us, but
There are.
you can't show them. So like this,
I got them to look at to decide if I'm gonna eat
to like
them.
taunt me with. I don't think I've had one of those in like a week either. But that's it, man. It was just like, and so I'm trying to feel better. But that's my integration, is me understanding that I was feeling like shit for a week, and then I had to, or not for a week. I've been feeling like shit, for a little decent amount of time, and not just physically, like mentally. Feeling more moody or whatever. So I chilled out on the caffeine. Trying to chill out on all of just staying up too late and stuff like that, having like my resting heart rate up too high, late in the evening. But I know, man, Spartan, man, I agree, dude. Caffeine is my friend too. I love it. I need it most of the time. I did supplement with some dark chocolate. There's always that thing. Theobromine is my friend right now, I suppose.
Is it hard that like I'm still having coffee?
No, not at all. I made you coffee the other day. I love the smell of coffee. I may or may not sip coffee. I'm not like going to say I'm never gonna
Just
have
wondering if
coffee.
it's
I do
like-
this all the time.
If it's making it more challenging for you.
No, not at all. I'm good with all kinds of like I said, I maybe it's that I'm accustomed to these types of diet changes or lifestyle changes. It's just because I've done them a
Mhm.
lot, and so I kind of put myself through these mental frustrations, I guess. Try to like overcome them, so to speak. I try to do this like once a year, every couple of years.
I do it in little
Sometimes.
spurts too. I'll like stop caffeine for
Sometimes not.
it's more like a tea break, or like tolerance break. Kind of.
Exactly. I haven't done with cannabis. I did it with entheogens, so to speak. We took a good solid 10-day hiatus, let our thresholds drop on that. Nice little 10-day hiatus, felt great. Then we were able to drop our dose way back down, all kinds of stuff. It's wonderful. I don't know if I'll do that with cannabis though. Might need to with like the smoking, especially now that I'm having trouble breathing.
Try more CBD. We keep talking about it, but
Eggs in a basket. That's the chat. Toad in the hole, eggs in a basket, egg toast, same thing.
Food for toad.
Yeah, man.
A mushroom cheese omelet. That
Let's
sounds
see. We've gone
delicious.
full late session. We start talking about food. I leave for a minute, come back. It's all food and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's getting that time.
Can't do a show without starving by the end, especially when you do a show
Oh, a
with
bunch of
Spartan,
fucking.
man.
Oh, he
Always
gets you
some
because
good.
he shows up to the pre-show eating fucking sweet ass bars and shit like the Magnum bars and all that. What are those? Was they Bliss bars or some bullshit? It's like I don't know what they're called.
All right, guys. I got. We
Kingfisher said hen in a nest, dude. I like that. That's good,
I
man.
don't know if I'm gonna.
Cheers, painted lady.
We're not gonna.
Painted lady, I volunteered
Bottoms.
you to be vice president earlier.
I said you should be actual president.
You said
So
president. I
win.
said
President.
vice president.
Well, the plant has to be president, so it's gonna have to be second in line at least.
What's
You have
above the
You have
president?
to answer to the plant.
And Delta 9 says, I'm going to give up coffee entirely starting tonight until tomorrow morning.
There it is.
That's called a fast right there.
One more joint.
I like Captain's participation in chat. Everybody's been participating greatly. Thank you all very much for participating.
Full credit,
Yeah,
Ty,
one
full
more
credit,
joint. Chat. We're gonna have one more joint.
We're gonna do one more
We're gonna
joint?
Participate around the
Okay.
moon one more time. I'm gonna twist up some Granddaddy Purple, kind of slow it back down. I've been smoking Rainbow Driver. I guess I never did tell you guys that. Let you guys tell me what you guys are smoking, but that's what we're smoking. Skilbo's throwing up Dark Star stuff in chat, and you guys should totally check out these shows. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You want to hear us come on, but we are always live. Probably is going to happen the same time every week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm digging this time slot.
That's something good to bring up actually is music. Like I've actually been pretty dead on music the last few years. Like you guys know I'm never really jumping on too much. Like you guys link music videos and songs and all that shit in chats for years and never really I just was dead. I wasn't too big into music and I had to say recently I've been getting really, really into it. Like when I'm in a funk, smoke some
Dude.
weed, maybe do some kind of, psychedelic and just listen to my Spotify list, and
So
it's
let me vibe to this for a minute because this is the key, man. This is the key to everything. For me, I must listen to music most of the day. I've been this way my whole life. And I use music as a way to not only match my fucking mood, but to set my moods. And I feel
Also
like
working in a kitchen. Oh my gosh, always.
yeah, everybody that works in the kitchen,
Forever.
like one of the jokes there is like if you worked in a kitchen, you've either listened to a shit ton of country music from old people, or you've listened to a bunch of Rage Against the Machine,
Bunch of classic rock.
a bunch of
I've
classic rock. Yeah,
I've been
you know?
obsessed with podcasts and educational like format stuff like our shows and stuff for years, and that literally took over my music. And you really do need it in your life.
Don't ever be the
Heck no.
serial killer that drives around to the sound of the fucking blinkers in your car, man. It's a missed opportunity for you to like set
Sometimes
your
I do
mood and your
that.
intention. Yeah, well, but it's never
Sometimes it's
good.
a nice quiet time.
Well, then you're at the point where you need that nice quiet time
I
so
do
that
that
you
shit
don't snap
sometimes too, man.
somebody's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
neck or something.
That's it.
We have music playing in the house almost.
Yeah, all the
always.
time.
Yeah. There are times, a lot of times when I drive to the farm,
Frequencies, man.
I don't listen to the radio. When I do, it's usually like talk radio, news, NPR type shit. I just have an old school car that I can't plug
Phil
my phone
Donahue.
into, to be honest. But I got my headphones.
You gotta be old to
and
get
I'll
that
listen
one.
I'll listen to the Phil Donahue skill.
You
That's
remember Phil?
hilarious. Phil Donahue, dude, all those old
Daytime
randos,
talk shows and
daytime
shit.
talk
Yeah.
shows during the day.
I am smoking some GG4. I still have this much is what I have left to my fucking name, man. That's it.
Yeah.
So
You're rolling.
cheers, everybody.
Fatty. Granddaddy Purple. When did we harvest this? Probably
August
say August. I'll go with August too,
or July.
or July.
What's the date on yours? The date on mine is March. Ooh, yeah, March.
Nice.
Of last year.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, this is the
Nice.
end of night type joint. That's for sure. Get those CBNs rolling. I'm sure it's been stored well enough, Skilbo. You got yourself a nice little potent stash. right
Oh,
there.
that wasn't out of me judging you. I was like, hey, it lasted you a
Hey,
full year.
oh, yeah.
almost.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Skilbo has
I have no idea how Skilbo does this stuff.
Antique.
no.
You know what it is? Is
judgment on
Skilbo is a
age.
fucking single patient grower that got to be like a really good grower without ever breaking any fucking number rules or anything else. I just get to the point where we're like, holy fuck, man, I've got a lot of fucking weed. I've got to do something with this. I can't be sitting on all this shit. So, that's where like the tinctures come in. And this week, if you were on Instagram, I think it was my Skilbo One account. I had a little reel that I showed of me making the MCT oil that I'm always talking about. So I ended up taking some CBD hemp trim and I put that into a double boiler with the MCT oil and I ran it on high for 24 hours. At the end of it, I strained it all off, put it back in the bottle. It's a pump bottle. Add one pump each to each dog's food. And I have noticed a difference in the little dog already.
Nice.
She's got a better appetite. She's all happy when she sees me go towards to grab the food bowl again. So I think we're doing something good.
Just
We need to make some.
tincture.
I think it really
Yeah.
would help him, man. It's really fucking super easy.
We have, one that we got.
Those are expensive though, man.
RSO.
No dog tincture for the dog.
Still have some rosaberry that's pretty old. I'm curious. I'd have to like make some oil and then get it tested to see if it would still have a bit of THC in it. I still want to go with something that's lacking.
It would have some
THC.
CBD as well, right? So it'd be
Yeah,
like a
mostly
1-to-1.
CBD unless
Yeah.
it's been
What's wrong with the
converted.
THC in it?
If it's for dogs,
Yeah, it's just not the best.
it
From
affects them
most recent research.
a lot more.
Dogs.
Well, it's
and
because you can't
cats-
make it super strong for 'em.
Right. And I think more than just the comfortable experience for them. You know, the fact they do the whole and all that. I think that it's more than that. I think that it's actually like more lines of like toxic for them. I don't want to say that, but I think that the THC specifically on the CB1 receptor like overloads it. They have fewer. What is it? They either have more.
Fewer.
They have half as many or twice as many.
I think it's fewer because
CB1
more because the same amount will affect them more.
There must be maybe half as many receptors, or maybe
So
it's
it
twice as many.
overfills
Twice as many, and
quicker.
it picks it up faster because there's twice as many. Fucking A, one of the ways. I don't know. It's what
So you
she's
can overload
under and I'm
receptors,
over.
so I
So
get that.
somebody will find the answer. But yeah, one of the ways, right? So you want to go low, and then I guess even same deal with CBD, but it's just the safer alternative. You can try probably tads of THC, enough to like stay at least below whatever kind of a bit of a toxic level that there might be to it. I'm sure
Do
there's
we-
more than enough evidence to say people use THC with their pets all the time, and I'm sure it's great and fun. I'm
Yeah,
sure that it's
that-
Like super
you know,
That's why I wonder, because but my dog's older. It seemed like it helped him when I was actually doing it. It's been a
I'm
long
sure,
time,
I'm sure it
but
helps out a lot, and I'm sure you weren't getting anywhere near close to.
no,
You know, but
it was like
similarly
a
with
little
chocolate,
squirt.
you know, your dog eat a little bit of chocolate, they're fine. They can overdose a lot easier though.
The theobromine is what you worry about.
Yeah.
The kind of chocolate. There's a difference between
Stuff
like
I'm
milk
going
chocolate
for.
and fucking something that's like 90% cacao. Say a red cacao.
Cacao. The stuff I'm going for when I don't have my chocolate right now. And I mean, it's still a stimulant, right? It's just not caffeine. It's in a different form, but it's what I can get through to be able to get at least get rid of a headache or something like that. You know, it works a little bit. It's an alternative, different alternative. I like chocolate. I'm trying to go too heavy on it.
Where'd the joint go?
Oh, it's over here. Shit. I guess I gotta light that thing now that it's rolled, don't I?
Red said he was going to roll
was
his
just
last joint
gone.
at
I was like, did you
10:22. It
already
was like
smoke
15
it?
minutes ago. I'm fucking quarter of the way done with mine. You know,
Yeah.
it's good.
And it was I sent Spartan a band to listen to because he was talking about he's into like he said foreign music, or maybe I'm being politically incorrect with that one.
I don't think Spartan was the one who said that.
He didn't say that one, or out of
Didn't sound in character for
international-
sure.
International news or something like that. Or in news music. Tribali. That's a Maltese band
Oh yeah.
that I caught up many years ago. I don't know.
Dave Martin in chat.
Dave Martin. I thought it was
Listens to
Spartan.
Martin.
Well, cheers. Then I sent that to Spartan, and I should have sent it to you then. But either way, everybody in chat listen to Raleigh. Maltese band. It's like they have all kinds of. There's like a didgeridoo and a fucking what is it? One of those fucking not a steel drum. It's the opposite of a steel drum. It's a hand pan. That's what it is.
Hand drum. Yeah, those the
Hand
metal
drum
ones.
pan,
Yeah.
didgeridoo. It's a Maltese digital.
It's
a little
like
bit of a digital
it's like
music.
a
I think
world
they have a
world
have a-
sound. Yeah.
yeah, it's very world soundy. They like almost they have a song called Rainforest that almost could kind of put you there. It's pretty cool. Man.
Oh,
Pretty
what was
cool
the name
music.
of that band in the 90s? Fuck. They used to use fuck. Was it Deep Forest? Somebody help me out in chat. There was a band called Deep Forest, I think, in maybe the mid 90s. And they used to use like samples of the native songs to these people, and they put it to music. It was really pretty cool. Just like another cool one, if you want a really, really weird one, is called A Tribe Called Red.
Spartan said he was
Tribe
checking
Called
the
Red,
Echo of
yeah.
Silence. Yeah, they got some pretty heavy drum drum beats and
Rusted
Yeah.
Root. No, it wasn't Rusted Root. That's I don't want to piss off
Yeah,
my
Rusted Root.
Canadian viewer friends.
Rusted Root did have a pretty what would you say, like, I don't know, man, what do you call it? You call that like
Call it what?
there's a term for that style of music, but like what's his face? Paul Simon did it a lot. What is it called, man? It's gonna be one of those Bruce where I don't want to fucking dead air the show thinking about it.
Okay,
but,
Hillbilly, or he knows Tribe Called Red. There we go.
Tribe Called Red. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's Native American.
Native American.
Yeah, hippie tribal. There you go.
And I don't mean that because Simon and Garfunkel did that one Native American song. Fuck, dude, I'm dying over here on what the names of the songs are, and I'll be able to like just
Bruce Hornsby, baby, Bruce.
I
Hornsby.
know. Somebody knows it. They did this one song that's actually
Now they left me out to dry on my deep forest fucking thing, so you might be on your own too, friend.
Yeah,
Man on his own island. Oh, Rusted Root is from Pittsburgh. My bad. I always
No
thought they
idea
were
what you're talking about.
they have like a
Nice,
Canadian
Cap.
sound.
Not so far north, I guess. I think it might be the Grand.
Pittsburgh,
starting to
Ontario.
change.
It's kind of the same. It's pissed off two groups of people in one fell swoop there.
Listen to music. It's great for your soul. It is. Good vibrations come
Great
from
for
it.
your soul.
One of those things that you can be deficient in, just like mushrooms, cannabis. Maybe
Oh, I think it
other
switched
things,
your
I don't know yet.
microphone. Does it
What
sound like it
happened?
switched? Does his microphone sound different?
Kind of. Maybe.
Talk again.
Talk again. Could just be me. Yeah. Take a big swig off that sucker.
What the hell happened?
Yeah,
I
there
don't know.
you
It
go.
sounds.
Am I back yet?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. You had a blunt in your mouth. I can't.
The sound is a little better. Okay.
It is much better.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
I don't know.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Maybe it's doing it again. Maybe it's us. We're directly plugged in this time. We didn't I finally got a cord long enough to go to my router, so I don't have to use my Wi-Fi while I
Raw
Posted.
doggins. There's raw
Yeah.
doggins in chat.
Yeah, that's definitely my cord here. I was knocking it loose or something.
Oh yeah, that happens. That definitely happens. We do that all the time here. We're bumping on this one. Plug you sound much better. Yeah, cheers,
See?
chat.
My Zoom is going crazy. It's switching between microphones.
Yeah,
without
because when it
pressing
came
anything.
unplugged, it switched you over.
Let's see here. I hope I'm not
Whoa.
messing with you. Shouldn't be. If you need me to mess with anything on my end, let me know.
Yeah, you're good.
Chat. Chat, if you guys have anything for the last little bit of this show, we're gonna finish off these doobies. Do our final shout outs here in a moment.
One thing I do want to say is that there will be a Wake and Bake with the Groskies over on the MBGS channel. That'll be Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thanks, Skilbo. Chat, do you guys do you have anything that you have used from the experience and then integrated into your life? Or is it something like maybe listening to more music, spending time with friends and loved ones, you know, changing, I don't know, habits about your lifestyle? What are some of your most powerful takeaways, and were you able to integrate it? And if not, you know, hopefully you can in the future, and at least prior to the experience. Here you go. You want some of that? Just kind of talking.
You know what? The same thing's going to happen that always happens. If nothing else happens, then what has always happened. If you aren't happy with your life, if you're not happy with where you're at, and it can be something big, it could be something small, guess what, man? Tomorrow is a whole nother chance to turn that whole fucking ship around for right and for wrong.
Yeah.
So if you're just kind of like bullshitting, laying back in the cut, thinking everything's cool in your life, and some shit is starting to get away from you, it can all be fucking taken away from you and ruined in one moment. So don't take anything for fucking granted. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't take advantage of other people, man. Just be a solid person. Be the person that you want to be.
Keep the fuckery to a minimum.
Yeah.
Mo Grower says, how do you guys figure out your ratio for making oils and tinctures, etc., with untested homegrown and using Happy Bud CBD and CBG, like if you're trying a 1-to-1 for something? Well, you can always use less. So it depends on what you're making it for. It depends on if you want to, like I said, again, for me, what I did is I took 1 ounce to 32 ounces of MCT oil. So then you would have to start with the starting rate on what's the total amount in milligrams of it in there. And then you would have to do the math, talk to somebody like Red, have him do the math for you. And he would come back and he'd say, well, if you have X amount, then you have this. And then you have to figure out your dosage from there. But it would be safe to, with the Happy Buds, it's nice because there's no assumptions that have to be made. You're not introducing anything foreign. You know what you're starting with. Now, when it comes to the home shit, then you might want to assume that you have probably, I know it's cool. Everybody wants to say I grow 30% fucking THC. Call it safe and say it's 15%. Figure it on 15%. There you go. And you have to test it yourself.
No doubt.
You know, you can't just let somebody else be your guinea pig like irresponsibly. That's especially with like a pet or something like that. The reason that I went with my ratio is because that's what I had luck with them in the past, using the exact same starting product. So
if you're in a legal state where you have regulated cannabis, you could attempt to try to buy a 10 milligram sample of something. Fresher the better. You know, this is all, there's a ton of control variables that are out of place with this, you know, time included, because THC does convert into CBN, but it takes time to do that. So, you know, take a 10 milligram or 5 milligram gummy and feel what the effects are. So I'm most of the cannabis, if you're home growing it, you're going to hit somewhere in a range like between 15 to 18%, or between 18 and 20%. You're going to get some outliers. They're going to be 20 to 25%, 25 to 30%, but most of it's in that range of like 15 to 20%. So if it's, you know, got some decent bag appeal, probably doesn't hit you really, really heavy or heady, there's a good chance it's probably in that range. You can maybe start with that. But I mean, man, running untested product, it's a crapshoot. Just like we talk about with mushrooms and not knowing the potency of them, it's a crapshoot.
Well,
So always start with less, like you said.
That's kind of why I like using the oil, though, rather than I see in chat, I'm going to make CBD and CBG dog biscuits and I need help. Here's the thing. By me using the oils, I'm kind of skipping that step because I don't have to ruin a whole batch. I can try this. Let's say it's 1 pump. We're just going to use this mythical 1 fucking pump, right? So if 1 pump is too much, then it's no big deal for me to, the next time that I use it, to use half a pump, okay? Or a quarter. But if I make a whole batch of dog biscuits, you know, now I'm forced into breaking them into smaller and smaller biscuits, which I guess you could do that too. But it's the hold time on something like that. I don't know how long those biscuits would be good for.
This is why access is so important, man, because if there's more
with the oils, it'll kind of hold, you know what I mean, for a little while.
Information, we'd have more testing labs available.
Sure.
You wouldn't have to worry about untested. You'd be able to go get yourself a little batch, just a sample, you know, if it's worth it to you to be able to figure out, you know, whatever you could. I mean, it could be as low as just getting your flower tested, your starting material tested. But I mean, it's usually better to get your end material tested. But one
I
test
like working with
somewhere
the
will give you
oils.
something to work with, you know.
You know why I like working with oils too? Is because it doesn't take any specialized extra contraptions and fucking investments. Most people have the ability to keep something warm for 24 hours. I don't have to have a Harbor Freight press or a fucking weird portable washer, or I don't, you know what I mean? A column, all these other things that I would need to have.
Is it not a reasonable idea that maybe we should bring up to one of our legislators to maybe add something in
I think
there
you
to-
unplugged again.
Did I? Son of a bitch.
You can hear you. The volume just is lower.
It's weird. Yeah, it's switching between my laptop and the blue. Yeah, I don't get it. I'll just be quiet for a second. I don't get it.
No.
No. Go ahead, because you had
We
a
can
point you
hear
were trying to make.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, now I don't forget.
Now it's
what I was
good.
gonna
Now it's
say.
Now
good.
we can
There you
hear
go.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing, do that.
I had a complete brain fart. Now I don't remember what my what I was trying to get
Jesus.
across. It was a good point too.
Yeah, likely story
Bring it
now
up
that you don't have to prove it.
legislators.
Oh, yeah, bring it up.
Yeah. So would it be a terrible idea to bring up to one of those guys that why all this tax money that we're paying on recreational medical in the stores, why isn't some of that going to put some free testing for medical patients so they can start doing this type of stuff?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
Would it be a terrible
They-
idea to bring that up to somebody? I mean,
You could, but
I-
the chances of it being worthwhile or anything other than just a hey, it would really nice to see you guys give back some of that tax money that you took from us.
it would be nice to see them improve the testing or whatnot because it's bullshit. Now I don't really want to support it. I never have. I had a terrible experience the last time I went testing a few years ago, and I haven't been back.
Well, the experience itself, I know where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think it's the only way that we're going to get anywhere with this and to unlock more and more information about this is through the scientific side of things. So by creating these testing things, the problem is that there's not a you could take the same sample and you could turn it into different places and get different numbers. But you could also take the same plant and offer samples, and if you did it as two separate batches, they may not come back with identical things. Now, I don't know whether it's just the variability of the plant within the plant itself, and the expression of it is different buds and different sites of the plant, or if that is that there are still some variances and variables in the testing that need to be worked out.
I think there's going to be some parts of the plant that might not have the same that aren't as ripe as the others. You know, their life cycle might be stunted a little more because they might not be experiencing as much sunlight. There's some stuff on the, you know, I think lowers compared to the tops, you know, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, if you're talking about a homogenized sample.
Yeah, so
you'd
Mo Grower goes
have
on to
take
say
a
that
homogenized
says I
sample
make
or
coconut
something.
oil capsules and put an ounce per cup of oil. Those are pretty strong, but I have patients and they want to make some different ratios for them. Thanks. One of the problems with using a capsule is, again, you have to refill or make new dosage because you can't really just take like half a capsule if they've already been pre-made for someone. What are the ones that Yeti makes? The Yeti caps. Are
I'm
those
not sure.
MCT oil ones? I can't remember if that's what those are or not.
Sure.
Yeah. I like using coconut oil or MCT oil just because it's good for the body as well.
That's what I did. Coconut oil to make some cookies.
What'd
It
you
made
think?
it better too.
Did it?
I really liked it. I used Rainbow Driver for the cannabis in it,
Mhm.
and it actually, like, the flavor of it, it didn't taste like bad. It just kind of tasted like how Rainbow Driver smells, and I like
Hell
that.
yeah, man.
How much do we use?
How many did you make?
I
Yeah. How much?
use I only use like an eighth of flour.
Eighth of
Mhm.
flour. How much oil did you make?
Like 15 ounces.
15 ounces of oil to an eighth of flour.
And then I think I used it in like 3 or 4 different batches of cookies and popcorn and all kinds of stuff. I liked it. I like the coconut because it kind of solidifies. So like the cookies, I think would kind of like when they were cold, they tasted better. I like the cold.
Baba Brown Bud says with oil, just start small and then use as much as you need. Repeat with each new batch. And Spartan says, you know, when I was making coconut oil on the 00 caps, it's 10 to 15 milligrams of THC every time. That's just the crock pot method. Yeah, man, I love that crock pot method, man. Again, everybody has access to the ability to do this. You know what I mean? And if you don't, you could go to a Goodwill and get your shit together for less than, probably a $20 bill.
That's good that you said that, because I mean, myself, for baked goods, I had to have it done with butter. I never liked the coconut oil. Or another thing I used to use a lot was grapeseed oil, because I can use that across a wide spectrum, even topicals. But yeah, I always had to have butter for brownies, cookies, all that. It just didn't taste right to me when I used just coconut oil.
It definitely tastes different. Mostly when they're like cold, but I think when they're warm, I think they taste pretty similar.
I don't taste coconut or anything, but I love coconut. I think it's a fine replacement. I don't use butter in much of my stuff. I prefer not to use the soy base or the fake butters and stuff like that. I prefer to use coconut oil or olive oil or something like that if I can.
Check out, if you guys want to try something new, check out grapeseed oil. It's got a lot of additional beneficial effects, and it's really good topical too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I came across it in capsules one time. I was like, oh, I didn't even know people use that. Yeah, went from there.
Safflower oil is pretty good, and I got some sweet almond oil that's really good for topical.
We'd be doing a lot of infusions.
Infusion.
Well, we got that rosemary. I wonder how that's holding up. We did a rosemary infusion. What kind of oil would that go into?
That was the almond oil,
So
like for your skin.
Almond oil, rosemary infusion. Fresh
Speaking
rosemary.
of infusions, I'm bringing back one of my favorite products, and then I'm out there making some. What did I used to call it? I can't remember what I used to call the lube. I had a really good name for it, but I've been out there making some of the abolished lube.
You're gonna have to make a new name for it then.
Yeah, I got to go find the ad for it. I had that good ad for it where the stormtrooper's pet, the fur or whatever, the bear on the ground.
You could lay out some tarps on a hill, lay out some lube, and go slipping and sliding.
I think it was a sexual enhancement oil.
I
Lube's
forgot about
offensive.
that.
Sensual enhancement oil. Sexual enhancement.
And it's infused.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen that on the market and the commercial side. Only one company that I've seen.
Yeah, I used to make it a lot. I'd have it for our booths and whatnot. It's pretty cool. A lot of people on the panel have had it before.
And that brings us right up to like 3 minutes before the end of the game, man.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see here. We'll go with you guys first. Either you guys have any shout outs before we head on out of here?
Always a nice time, always a good conversation. And I love reading chat while I'm doing this because there's always good tips. I want to give a shout out to Mo Grower. Closing with says freeze the oil capsule, then you can cut it in half. His 95-year-old great aunt takes one every night. And that's referencing if you have the MCT oil capsules and they are too strong, you could do that route by splitting them that way. And that's the thing, man. I love how everybody is just free with the information. This community is definitely one about sharing. And I really, really appreciate everybody, man.
Don't miss the Wake and Bake Saturday, and the Frugal Bed episode 3 will be out Saturday too.
Be around noon for that one, right?
Yeah, so
I think it's set that one later on at night, but
Right on. Thanks, Daddy Red.
thank you, Daddy Red. Yeah, so jump on over to the Michigan Bros Grow Show channel and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for those guys as well. And we go live, like I said, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Bro Show live. Find us live at the next time right there. And here every Thursday, 9 p.m. So really appreciate you all. Becca, do you have any last shout outs for you or anything last? Everybody?
Nothing specific, just
Come back next week.
be
It's always cool.
Have a positive week. Be
Yes.
positive.
I like that.
How about if I just say I'm positive that it's
That's
next
great.
week?
Positive.
Sometimes you got to start where you can start, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Keep listening to
Alright.
music. Keep jamming.
Integrate. I agree, man.
Integration.
Use-
There you go.
Use what you've thought.
Use what you've
about.
learned of
Yeah,
the force.
Use what you tell yourself. Use what
You tell
yourself
yourself whatever you got to
tells
fucking tell
yourself.
yourself, pal. Just tell it.
and tell yourself how to tell yourself more things. No, but yeah. Hope everybody does have a great
Tell
night
yourself
and a great
more
week.
things. More glorious and fabulous
Glorious,
bullshit things.
fabulous bullshit. I like it. It was a great show. I really appreciate chat. I really appreciate everybody hanging out, coming through and watching and rewatching the show and hanging out. Is that a
Sorry.
phone?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
No, need
Good
anything?
night,
Oh, okay.
everybody.
Okay. I thought you needed something.
We killed it at
Okay, so-
11. No way.
Nope, I haven't killed it yet.
He hasn't killed it yet. We're
Oh,
still
hell,
hanging in there
say
like a
my
hell.
He's gonna let it go over.
Yeah, oh yeah. Still say my goodbye.
May your
you
cup
know,
runneth
it goes
over.
over. It goes over sometimes. Sometimes it goes 5 hours. But I love you all. Thank you very much. Peace out to you all, and take it easy, man. Stay safe.
Yeah,
Grow
man.
your own medicine. Cheers.
Made it.
Now it's went over. Now it's